Oh, Jorge, I don't know. That's a whole lot of color for the top of my head for just a little review. Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 8's cast announcement. But before I get started, I need to welcome a new queen to the Fingerdoo family on Patreon, Darcy Stryker. Welcome, Darcy. I hope we see you at the next live chat. We do 2 live chats a month there on Patreon, I'm just saying. I also need to thank this week's Tipperdoos, Nota Nightlight, T. Leafson, Jordan O'Dwyer, and Emily Warner. I couldn't keep the studio lights on without your generosity, so thank you so much, dolls, seriously. Now, speaking of generosity, I have some bad news to share, especially if you're a resident or frequent visitor to Provincetown. There's a fabulous menswear shop there called Coffey Men that sells original handmade designs. Its owner, Scott Coffey, is a big part of the Provincetown community, and his store is a social hotspot for locals and international visitors alike. I've got a link to Scott's shop, their Instagram page, just down below, that shows off the shop and its merchandise. But, Coffey Men was destroyed by a fire earlier this week, and Scott has lost everything, including his entire inventory of handmade clothing and accessories. His very good friend Rod reached out to me to spread the word that some friends of Scott have started a GoFundMe page to help him recoup his losses and rebuild his shop. If you've ever been to Scott's shop, please show your love and support with a donation. I've got a link down below in the description box to the GoFundMe page. And on behalf of Scott, Rod, and Maria, who organized the GoFundMe page without letting Scott know, thank you to all of you who are able to help out, seriously. And Scott, don't be mad at Rod or Maria. They love you and they want you to get back on your feet as quickly as possible. Seriously. Now, Jorge, drink me! Oh, ooh, look, ooh, I'm dripping. But I'm talking about the cocktail. What's this? A classic martini with a twist? Ooh. Old school. I like it, Jorge. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get to it. Usually where an all-star season is concerned, I feel like a lot of the cast hasn't had time to reach an all-star status. They were either kicked off the show too early to make an impression, or they've done very little to change that after getting the chop. These days, we can watch a regular season of Drag Race and start throwing around All-Stars as a viable alternative for our favorite queens who aren't doing as well as we'd hope. But for the most part, I usually find an All-Stars casting to be made up from the dregs of drag queens who weren't too busy to turn the invite down. Tell me I'm wrong. That is not the case with All-Stars 8. We have a great mix of queens, from those who didn't get a lot of time to sparkle to queens who are still sucking up the light. And I have to say, even though I'm not a fan of all these All-Stars, I think we're in for a fun season either way. The official All-Stars 8 promo and cast announcement showed off all the queens in 2 looks, one for the promo itself and their actual entrance into the workroom. And from what I've seen so far, no one is making this easy for anyone. Our first queen into the workroom was Heidi in Closet. She made it to top 6 on season 12 of Drag Race and was voted Miss Congeniality by her castmates. She also got herself a bit of a reputation as a lip-sync assassin, sending home both Brita Filter and Nikki Doll. So it makes sense that they had her back on All-Stars season 6 as the lip-sync assassin on episode 8 against Ginger Minj. I'm really looking forward to seeing Heidi return to Drag Race as a contestant this time. She was still relatively new to drag and pulled her wardrobe together on a very restricted budget and did most of the sewing herself. So it'll be nice to see how her drag's evolved since then. She also had Nicki Minaj tell her to her face that she hated her hair and makeup. So it'll be nice to see her glow up, if any. One thing's for sure, Heidi's definitely upped her wardrobe game. I love this structured suit, and her signature gap-toothed purse was everything. And when you compare it to her season 12 entrance look, it's a definite Fingerdoo. But her promo look was even better. The structure, the proportions, the hat. It's another Fingerdoo for Miss Closet. I think that Heidi has what it takes to win the crown, but she's up against some pretty larger-than-life characters, so hopefully she doesn't fade into the background, I'm just saying. Seriously. Next, we have Mrs. Kasha Davis. I love this queen the minute she walked through the workroom doors on season 7 and was sorry to see her only make it to episode 5. While on Drag Race, she was part of the bitter old lady brigade with Jasmine Masters and Ginger Minge, who whinged and moaned about the younger queens of their season, namely Violet Chachki. Since then, Mrs. Kasha Davis has been sober for 7 years, so it'll be interesting to see if she's tempered her mood at all or amped it up. It could go either way. As much as I like Mrs. Kasha Davis, I wasn't a big fan of her entrance look for All Stars. It was a little too old school for me, so I gave her a finger don't, I'm sorry to say. I thought her promo look was way better. It looks like her theme for this season will be big wig country, and I'm excited for it. Fingerdoo for Kasha's promo. I'd like to see this queen make top 4, but something keeps telling me she won't. Stop it, I heard you the first time. Season 8's Naysha Lopez was the first queen to ever be eliminated twice on the same season of Drag Race. Arguably one of the most beautiful queens to walk through those workroom doors. I think it's going to take more than Naysha's looks to win All-Stars. Personally, I won't be surprised if she's the first queen eliminated. Again. Of course, she can currently be seen as one of the regular hosts of Roscoe's viewing party for Drag Race on YouTube. As for her entrance look, I didn't hate it, but it didn't wow me. I get that it's a social commentary on the laws some American states are trying to get passed against drag, so I gave it a Fingerdoo. But as for Naysha's promo ensemble, well, I'm not a fan of that wet hair look. Don't get me wrong, her gown and makeup are stunning. I just wish she'd sat under a hairdryer for a few minutes, that's all. Still, I gave it a Fingerdoo. It was just a little soggy though. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the winner of the best entrance look for All Stars 8 has to be Kahanna Montrese. Especially when you compare it to her season 14th entrance look. Seriously, give this queen a Fingerdoo. I'm looking forward to see what Kahanna does this season. She's had a few years to figure some things out and to get some work done. So I hope she's better prepared for what's to come. She definitely has a more pointed aesthetic, at least from her entrance look and this fabulous promo look. Can you tell this girl is from Vegas? Give this showgirl another Fingerdoo. Seriously, Kahanna could make top 4, but unless she's got a few tricks in her dance bag, I'm afraid that I don't see her winning it all. We'll just have to wait and see. Seriously. We heard the 5th queen into the workroom way before we saw her, which is no surprise because it was Candy Muse. I'm not so sure if I like this entrance look as much as her season 13 outfit. There was something wrong with that wig, if you ask me, but I still gave her a Fingerdoo. Whether you were a fan of Miss Muse or not, you can't deny that she kept things interesting on her season. She's a big personality, and I can see her clashing with more than a couple of the All-Stars queens, Jimbo. So we'll just have to see what happens, but good, bad, or loud, I could totally see Candy winning All-Stars, especially if she's brought more looks like this promo look, which I absolutely loved. It could be that the wig worked better than the toilet brush she wore into the workroom. Tell me I'm wrong. Regardless of what wigs she wears, Candy Muse will definitely make top 4. Seriously. 6 into the workroom from season 6 was Darian Lake. She made it all the way to top 4, so she's definitely got the skills to do as well, if not better. We'll just have to wait and see. One thing's for sure, Darian's looking good. She's clearly lost some weight and gained a stronger sense of fashion. Tell me I'm wrong. Although her entrance look was a little subtle compared to the previous queens, her promo look was undeniably high glam. Seriously, 2 Fingerdoos for Miss Lake. Put them where you want. Another thing that I hope has changed is my opinion of Darian Lake. I wasn't a fan of hers after watching her be unnecessarily mean towards Ben de la Creme on season 6. I've never gotten over it. But it's been 9 years since she's been in the workroom, and since Dela isn't making any plans to return, I'm hoping that Darian's become a kinder, gentler drag queen. Seriously. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was excited to hear that the 7th All-Star this season was Monica Beverly Hills. The last time we saw her was on season 5 of Drag Race, where she came out as trans on the main stage. In fact, Monica was the first queen to do that on network television. The reason I'm excited to see Monica is that, well, she was fairly new to drag then, and I'd love to hear what she's been getting up to these last 12 years. One thing's for sure, she's another one who's had a fashion glow up. I loved her Troop Monica Beverly Hills uniform sporting the trans flag colors, and her promo look was almost blinding me. Disco titties will do that to a person, I'm just saying. She's another one who's getting 2 fingerdoos from me, but whether she'll be able to get her hands on that crown will have to be seen. And I, for one, can't wait to find out, seriously. Our 8th queen into the workroom is another one I was excited to see. From season 9, it's YouTube sensation and wig stylist to the stars, James Mansfield. She was eliminated first on her season of Drag Race, even though it was episode 2. So I'm expecting her to last a little longer this time. She's definitely proved that she has the skills, especially after her villain turn in The Bitch That Stole Christmas. One thing's for sure, she's another queen who's upped her wardrobe game, but is still sticking to her classic Hollywood aesthetic. I loved her pink, fresh off the bus look, but her promo look really took my breath away. 2 fingerdoos for James. I see her definitely making it to top 4, just as long as she doesn't steal any of Jimbo's thunder with her breastplate. Seriously, it could be the battle of the boobies. Another queen from season 9 that was next into the workroom, but I'd be lying if I said I was looking forward to her return, was Alexis Michelle, who I thought played the blame game way too much during her season, where her season 9 sisters were concerned. If she wasn't blaming them for letting her walk down the runway in less than perfect drag, she was complaining about them making fat jokes about her during the reading challenge. Seriously, if you don't want people making fat jokes about you, lose some weight. Still, it's been 6 years since she's whinged her way through the workroom, so who knows? Maybe she's mellowed. I'm not holding my breath. Still, she did make top 5 and won her season snatch game, and that entrance look wasn't too shabby. Maybe she got some help with it before she made her entrance. So I totally gave her a fingerdoo, but the star of her dance bag has to be this promo look. You can't deny that this queen looks gorgeous. I can see her making top 4 for sure, but my jury's still out on whether she can win it all. And I didn't mean that in the sexy way. 10th into the workroom is my pick to win this season of All-Stars. It's Jessica Wilde from season 2 of Drag Race, which makes her the OG of the OG queens this season. Although, I'd be lying if I said she was going to do it in that entrance outfit. No offense. I mean, from the neck up, Jessica looks stunning, but in my opinion, there was too much going on down below her chin for me to give her a fingerdoo. That said, I really like Jessica on season 2, but it was painfully clear that she was having a problem with the language, being born and bred in Puerto Rico as she is. But that didn't stop her from getting a reputation as a lip-sync assassin on that early season, and she did win the girl group challenge, so she's obviously a solid performer. And I'm very happy to say she redeemed herself with her promo look. Oh, I just love purple. Fingerdoo for Miss Wilde. Needless to say, I'm very excited to see Jessica return to Drag Race and fill us in on what she's been up to as well. Seriously. 11th into the workroom is Canada's own Jimbo, wearing a lot and not too much all at the same time, thanks to her silicone bodysuit. What can I say? Big boobs is her brand. I have to say I gave this look a finger don't. I'm not a fan of these silicone bits and bobs that are becoming so popular in drag these days. I think Jimbo is another queen who could win it all this season. I mean, she came in 4th on season 1 of Canada's Drag Race, where she won Snatch Game with her Joan Rivers impersonation, but she was eliminated on episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the World. But that could be down to the fact that she won the first 2 challenges, which proved that she was an early contender for that crown. I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of Jimbo. She seemed to have a very vicious mean streak on Canada's Drag Race and didn't react well to being eliminated on UK versus the World. But that's just me. I am impressed, though, by her promo look. Wow. I didn't even recognize her. I have to say, it's the best glow up of anyone, so I gave her a fingerdoo. We'll just have to see if that has any bearing on her ability to win the crown. Seriously. The last queen into the season 8 workroom is another fave of mine, the delicious Lala Ree, season 13's Miss Congeniality and the first recipient of the Golden Boot Award. In fact, many would say she created it with one of the worst self-made runway looks ever. Remember that? Lord knows I've been trying to forget it. Lala was a fierce queen on her season of Drag Race, but from what I can see from this entrance look, what was she thinking? From those custom glasses to those thigh garters that seem to do nothing, I have to give her a Fingerdoo, I'm sorry to say. Thankfully, her promo look was stunning enough to make up for it. Fingerdoo for Lala's promo. A golden gown for a golden queen. I think that Lala could very easily win this season of All-Stars, just as long as she doesn't pose too much of a threat for the other queens. Jimbo! So, there you have it, your All-Stars queens for Season 8. Who's your favorite to win? I hope they do what they did on the last Drag Race versus the World, where they used a point system with no elimination so that we can see as much of these queens as possible. But if they do revert back to the queens eliminating each other, we could see some emotional upsets based on personal issues instead of actual talent. Alexis is going to love that. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and while you're down there, help support my channel by giving this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribing to my channel if you haven't, and if you'd really like to help support the Fingerdoo review, there are links to becoming a Tipperdoo, getting your own Wilma merch from my Redbubble store, or joining the Fingerdoo family on Patreon. Until next time, miss me! Mwah! Seriously. Ooh, I love a classic martini. I don't know. I'm not rooting for Darian Lake, Jimbo, or Alexis Michelle. I even blocked Alexis Michelle's name. I just found her so pillish on her season. But what's sad is that all three of those queens are great queens. There's nothing wrong with them as queens. I just don't like them as people. They just seem, I don't know, and that's not fair. I shouldn't judge. I mean, it's a reality show, unfortunately, and you know, if they give the editors enough rope to hang them, they're gonna get hung, but still. I'm rooting for Jessica Wilde. I'm also rooting for Heidi because I really like both of them. I thought that they were both super great personalities. They worked well with others, but for Jessica particularly, she just seemed, there was so much struggle in her case because you could clearly see that she wasn't understanding what was being said to her, what was asked of her, and I'm hoping that she can show that she's a powerful queen. Because I thought she was a powerful queen then. Just saying. So few of us, really.